If your dog had cancer, would you treat him the same as a dog with allergies or arthritis? Well, if your answer is no, then you have to watch this video because there's an epidemic that's causing a wide range of serious health issues in dogs. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this channel, and if you're on YouTube, click the alert notification. Okay, so when your dog eats, the food passes from the stomach to his small intestine, and this is where most of his food is digested and absorbed. Whatever's left will then travel to the large intestine or the colon, where it feeds gut bacteria, and then whatever's left gets exited through the back door. Now, the walls of the small intestine are covered in finger-like projections called villi, and each of these villi is covered in even smaller fingers called microvilli. Now, the villi and microvilli, they work by increasing the surface area of the small intestine, which just gives it a lot more real estate for your dog's food to be absorbed. Now, the microvilli are lined with only a single row of cells, which are called epithelial cells. So that means that the only thing between your dog and the contents of his intestines is a fraction of the size of a pinhead. Now, this flimsy barrier allows nutrients to be easily absorbed, but it's not very good at protecting your dog from foreign invaders like viruses and unfriendly yeast and bacteria. Now, you might think that this is a pretty significant design flaw, but Mother Nature sorted this out millions of years ago. As dogs and other animals evolved, bacteria evolved along with them. And inside your dog's gut are trillions of friendly bacteria species that help protect him from the nastier species, and they do this in a few ways. First, they help form a thick, gooey mucous membrane along that really thin gut lining. This mucous membrane helps keep the bad guys from getting out. And it also houses about 90% of your dog's immune cells. Second, friendly gut bacteria help crowd out unfriendlies. And if your dog has enough of them, then they'll live in the mucous membrane and make sure that the unfriendly bacteria stay transient and don't attach to the gut lining. That's a good thing, because the thing that makes unfriendly bacteria pathogenic is that they poop out toxic byproducts that irritate your dog's gut lining. So the best way to keep those harmful bugs from attaching to the gut wall is to make sure that there's plenty of friendly bacteria that are already living there. Not only will the friendly bugs keep the bad ones out, but they'll also poop out really beneficial things for your dog. This includes a lot of his B vitamins, vitamin K, vitamin D, amino acids, enzymes, and short-chain fatty acids. Now, these are special fats that reduce inflammation in your dog by working alongside his immune system. And most importantly, they feed the cells that line the gut and keep them healthy. This is critical because if these cells aren't protected, then your dog can develop leaky gut. So let's take a look at what leaky gut is and the top causes. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, just leave them below and I'm happy to help out. Now, when the cells that line the gut are healthy, they have tiny little spaces around them that allow digested food to pass through and not a whole lot else. This keeps harmful bacteria, viruses, and other nasties out of your dog. The nice thick mucous membrane that coats the gut lining is also filled with IgA antibodies that make sure that unfriendlies don't get through. But if harmful bacteria start to attach to the gut lining, then two things will happen. First, they'll eat away the mucous membrane, and second, their byproducts will irritate the epithelial cells in the gut lining. Now, when this happens, the tight little junctions between the cells can widen, and the mucous membrane will shrink and leave them even more exposed to damage. Plus, a thinning mucous membrane will produce fewer immune cells like IgA antibodies to protect your dog. So now your dog will have leaky gut, and that inflamed, poorly protected gut lining will now allow toxins, allergens, bacteria, and yeast to get out of the gut and into your dog's body. And the result isn't good. This invasion causes an immune response throughout your dog's entire body, and this causes a chronic, prolonged inflammation. And this is the real problem with leaky gut. It causes inflammation all over the body and in all of your dog's organs. And after a while, some of those organs are going to start to break down, including the immune organs. So what you'll see is allergies, joint disease, bowel diseases, liver disease, kidney disease, and if inflammation is left unchecked, you'll start to see cancer. In just the last decade, there's been thousands of studies looking at leaky gut because we're learning that the gut lining and its health plays a critical role in health and disease. Okay, so now that you know that leaky gut is a really bad thing for your dog, how do you find out if your dog has it? Well, unfortunately, you can't really test for it, but it's just a good idea to assume your dog has it. The top signs of leaky gut are digestive issues, immune issues, allergies, organ disease, behavioral issues, and autoimmune diseases. Honestly, if your dog has any kind of chronic disease, even ear infections or hot spots, assume he has leaky gut. And this is especially true of dogs with food allergies. True food allergies are rare in dogs. If your dog was truly allergic to a food, then you'd get the same anaphylactic shock that people do when they're allergic to seafood or peanuts. Most of the allergies that we see in dogs are just leaky gut. And that's because undigested proteins escape the gut and your dog's immune system reacts to them. So if your dog has allergies, your first step to fix them is to stop the leaky gut. But how do you do that? Well, first, you need to start feeding the beneficial bacteria species. There's a ton of studies showing that the more bacteria that there are in the gut, the fewer health problems. They'll crowd out the unfriendlies and they'll start making those short-chain fatty acids again that will help repair the gut lining. Now, this is a bit of a problem if you're feeding your dog a commercial food, because most of them contain a lot of starch, like grains or legumes, and these ingredients feed unwanted bacteria colonies and they can cause gut inflammation. Grains and legumes also have pesticide residue like Roundup, and this is actually an antibiotic, so it kills good and bad gut bacteria. So if your dog has leaky gut, it's really important to feed him a diet that doesn't have grains or legumes. As an aside, we actually have free cooked and raw food recipes on our site that you can make at home. Now, other foods that can harm your dog's gut lining are high-fat diets, diets that are high in saturated fats, and coconut oil, which can directly cause gut inflammation. Now, apart from food, some other things that you want to avoid are drugs and antibiotics. And be aware that stress can cause leaky gut too, and that older dogs tend to lose gut bacteria. So you'll need to do some extra work for your senior dog. So avoiding these common pitfalls will help stop the damage to your dog's gut. And there's also a few supplements that can help restore a healthy mucous membrane, healthy epithelial cells, and gut bacteria populations. Let's take a look at those. Now, the first is L-glutamine, and this is an amino acid that feeds and repairs epithelial cells, and it supports a healthy mucous membrane. A typical dose is about 500 milligrams per 25 pounds of body weight every day. The second one is N-acetylglucosamine, or NAG. This is a form of glucosamine that also helps rebuild healthy epithelial cells. And you'll want to give your dog about 250 to 1,000 milligrams daily, depending on his size, age, and his health. Now, there's also herbs that you'll want to give that can help soothe inflammation and bolster the mucous membrane. And this includes licorice root, aloe vera leaf, marshmallow root, and slippery elm. And finally, you'll want to build up healthy bacteria populations. Choosing the right foods will go a long way, and this includes giving your dog fruits and veggies. Now, these are a rich source of polyphenols, which are the preferred food of beneficial bacteria species. They eat the polyphenols, and they make short-chain fatty acids from them. And remember, short-chain fatty acids build healthy guts and immune systems, and they reduce inflammation. Now, my favorite source is broccoli sprouts because they contain sulforaphane, which can directly shut off inflammatory pathways. And finally, you'll want to give your dog probiotics. My favorite probiotics are soil-based because they have a special shell that protects them from the harsh gut environment. And research shows that probiotics reduce the inflammatory markers of leaky gut, especially one called Pediococcus acidilactiaceae. Now, this strain is also a must-have for any dog with leaky gut. Now, leaky gut is truly the biggest epidemic in dogs today, and now you know how poor gut health can cause virtually every chronic disease that we know of. And most importantly, you now know how to fix it or prevent it. Now, don't forget to leave your comments or questions below. I can also help you out with choosing your leaky gut supplements. And if you like this video, please make sure that you like it, share it, and tell people about it. Thanks for watching.